I founded Feline Women in January to be a community for the courageous and ambitious women of Oxford, and we organise music, fashion and inspirational events, and this is one of what I call the inspirational events from some very inspirational ladies. Why did I set up Feline? Well, traditionally we lived with our mothers, our sisters, our aunties, and had very good support networks. I'm not from Oxford, if anyone can tell, but you still sometimes need that support and that advice and guidance. And I wanted to set up a network for women of Oxford. I'd been inspired by, I worked for a women's charity previously, and had been inspired by some of the women's centres that I'd been to. They were in quite deprived parts of the country, and every time I went I would feel really inspired by the women there who were all working together on different projects, or even just having a coffee morning, but I'd always leave and I'd feel really buzzed up and this really great feeling. It's difficult to explain, but I sort of thought, I need this for me in Oxford. I need somewhere that I can go and meet people and share stories, share, share advice, guidance, and learn new things. So that's how word of mouth was born, really. I think it's a more relaxed way of networking. Each event we have one or more female speakers, and someone that I've met usually, and someone that I think is inspiring, has inspired me and has a really good story, because I think there's something really powerful about storytelling and sharing experiences. And we can all gain from each other's experiences and sharing. Is there someone at the door? Just come in. We've just started, so we must just find a seat in there. So tonight we've actually got a panel of female speakers, not just one. And I wanted to get a panel together to talk about blogging, because we've talked at Feline events, we've had a word of mouth about blogging before, and we had Natasha came and spoke at the Frock and Roll before, but I wanted to have a panel because I think it's a really diverse subject, and I think it's one that is, blogging is quite new, so there isn't really always a right or wrong answer, and there's lots of different ways to blog, there's lots of reasons why people are blogging, so I thought having a quite diverse panel would bring out some quite different experiences. And there's, like I say, there's no right or wrong answer to why you should be blogging, or even if you should be blogging, and I think that's what a lot of people you hear all the time, oh, you should start a blog, but maybe it's not right for you, or maybe it's not right for your company, or maybe it is and you haven't thought. Some people think, oh, I work for a certain company, what would we have to say, and maybe there is something that you haven't thought about. So it's an open event, and I want everyone to get involved and share their stories or ask questions. So we're going to hear from the panel first, and they're going to do a quick an introduction about their blogs, why they blog, what inspires them, what they love about blogging, and their top tips. And then we'll open the floor to you. I'm not sure what that noise is. I think it's probably the light. I'll try switching them over in a second. Just come in and find a seat. So introductions. So from left to right, my left to right, we've got, so this is Monika, also known as Mum on the Brink. She's a well-travelled mum of 3, and she blogs about parenting, technology, travel and green issues. And next we have Silvia. She's a facilitator in systemic constellation work, right? Okay. And she blogs about her work and what moves her. And then in the middle we've got Catherine, also known as Baby Jeannie. She has been blogging about family thoughts for 4 years. And then we have Holly, who works and writes blogs for Aubergine, a young, fast-paced digital agency, and forward-thinking, sorry I missed that bit, and forward-thinking digital agency. And then on the end we've got Natasha, also known as Candy Pop, who's also spoken at a Feline event before, you might recognise her face. And her blog is a well-established destination for lovers of photography, fashion and interiors. So that's it from me, and I'm going to pass over to Monika. Oh, there was one other thing. If you want to find out about links to any of these blogs, you will find them on the Feline blog, obviously. And then let me pass over to Monika.
Hi, my name's Monika. I blog at mumonthebrink.com. I started the blog in March last year, but actually that was just one post that I put in sort of a stake in the ground, and then started writing more in July after attending a couple of events and actually really gaining some inspiration. I started it as something to get me motivated. I thought, I don't know what I'm doing, where am I going? Kids were going off to nursery and school. I didn't know which way next. So I thought, I'm on the brink of something, always beside a nervous breakdown. And started the blog, and it's sort of developed gradually. First I thought, okay, I'm going to write about green issues and this and that, and ultimately I started writing about my life, and then it sort of developed from there. We love travelling and doing bits and bobs, and then some of the technology we're using, that gets incorporated, but a lot of it has been about life as a parent, and I got pregnant last September, and wrote more and more about pregnancy. And what I love about it is that ability to interact with the community, because as a blogger, I've fallen into the mummy bloggers category or mafia group, and it's actually a fantastic it's a fantastic community that is sort of has got a very supportive streak. Okay, sometimes they can pick on you and pick you apart, but generally they are a very supportive group, and I love that, and I love paying attention to the detail of our day-to-day life. So I find that I pay much more attention to that, so I can put it into a blog and write about it. I'm basically journaling our lives in a way, and even if it doesn't make it to a blog, I'm constantly writing a blog in my mind and thinking about things. It also, I think blogging has given me a focus, and it's helped me develop skills. I've learned WordPress, I've learned to use that pretty well. Photo editing, I'm doing more and more, and then things like video editing I'm looking to get more into, just as a way of developing my skills for future employment when I do come to going back into some sort of work. I'm just looking at, I mean, the good things are the things that I mentioned about the community spirit that comes with it, and there's a lot of, and that is one of the tips about blogging, is you will often sort of fit into a category if you're not, unless you're doing it for work, but even then you do fit into categories. And if you're in a certain group, go and visit other bloggers in your group and comment on their blogs, and often they'll return the favour for you and develop that community. So I don't feel that there's that much competition in that part of the blogging sphere. And I think one of the best tips I got, which hasn't really hit home till only recently, is don't worry about who reads you. You'll probably spend a couple of weeks, months, with no one or hardly anyone except your mother reading your blog, if you tell her the address. And so do it for the love of what you're doing, or for whatever purpose you're doing it. And then, you know, gradually as you build up confidence, you'll be able to promote it more, and you'll find the channels to promote it. And don't let your stats sort of rule you. If I looked at my stats, my best post is about how to make a Lightning McQueen cake. That is the only post about baking on my site. So if I was to follow stats, then I'd be doing that. I don't like baking that much, so I'm not going to follow that. I'm going to follow what I like writing about, because it's my blog, my rules. So I think that's me. So I'll pass it on to Silvia.
Thank you. I think that deserves a great clapping. I'm Silvia Silvia. I'm more in my baby shoes with this. I don't really know why I'm sitting here. I just volunteered because I love Jo and I'm supporting her. So I don't have much to blog yet. I'm getting there. I think I'm more learning than I've been able to teach. But so far, how I came to this was that I got asked the question in a social meeting with Jo and other inspirational women who asked me about my work and what I was doing, and I found myself blabbering away and having asked more and more questions about what I was doing, and Jo then suggested, I think you should, blog. And I hadn't thought about it by then, but then I thought, okay. And that was also a way to set up a website for myself. So I went with WordPress as well. I found it easy to use. Did my first blog, this typical hello, this is my first blog. Pretty boring, but it was kind of exciting getting my word and my ideas and everything out there. And I did get a little bit of feedback, but I'm not doing it often enough. I'm a once in a blue moon blogger. So I don't really have much to say about it, but the only thing would probably be that once I have blogged something, I do get a little bit of feedback already, and my stats go up for viewing my website, which is a good indication of blogging being a good thing for profession as well. I also am a bit worried to open up a little bit too much because I'm offering therapy and I'm encouraging people to become vulnerable, and therefore, of course, I need to show myself and my vulnerability. That was wrongly pronounced. Vulnerability, thank you. But of course, I don't want to be too vulnerable, and I find that balance a little bit difficult, and therefore I probably often sit there and think, okay, first of all, what do people want to know about my boring life? And then, but once I get started, I get into it, and I really love it, and I really kind of proudly post my thing out there, and don't really care, to be honest. Then if I like what I've written, then I stand by it, and that's what I would like to encourage other people as well, of course. That's me.